A debate as old as time, the Chase Freedom Flex or the Chase Freedom Unlimited. It's like LeBron or MJ, chocolate or vanilla, orange sherbet or Oreos. And it's a question I get asked all the time in the credit card space. Which card should I get, or which card should I get first? Well, I don't want to keep you any longer, so my answer, Chase Freedom Flex. If that's all you came here for, go ahead and leave a like, drop a comment, maybe even use my referral link down in the description of the video on your way out. But if you want to hear why I recommend the Chase Freedom Flex first over the Chase Freedom Unlimited, go ahead and stick around. We'll break down the reasons why I prefer that card first. But ultimately, both cards are tremendous to have and I would deem must-haves in your credit card setup. Let's get right into it. Before we dive into the differences of these two cards, let's talk about what they both have in common. For starters, both cards have a $200 sign-up bonus after spending $500 in the first 3 months of card opening. Now, Chase advertises that these sign-up offers are in the form of cash back. However, they are earned in Chase's Ultimate Rewards points, which are their transferable currency. This is a really important distinction that it's earned in points because these points can be transferred to transfer partners by utilizing either the Chase Sapphire Preferred or the Chase Sapphire Reserve. Additionally, both of these cards earn 3% back on dining at restaurants, either takeout or dine-in, or also drugstores. Both cards earn 5% back in travel through the Chase portal. Both cards also earn 5% back on Lyft, which is a pretty nice perk, and they both give you complimentary access to Dash Pass, which is DoorDash's free delivery service. They both also have auto rental coverage as well, which is a tremendous perk to be able to decline the auto insurance when you're renting a car. Pretty nice perk for a no annual fee card. And lastly, both of these cards have no annual fee, making it a great card either early game or just a keeper card forever. So now that we have the similarities out of the way, we can really dive into where these cards begin to diverge. Let's start off with the Freedom Flex, which is the card that I would suggest most people get first. So the Freedom Flex earns 5% cash back in rotating categories throughout the entire year. Now, these categories that the card earns in are in very basic everyday categories such as groceries, restaurants, home improvement stores, and even Amazon and PayPal. These are categories that are very easy to fit into your normal day-to-day spend, and you do have to make sure you activate this offer either through the mobile app, or Chase will even sometimes send you an email reminder to go ahead and activate it at the start of each new quarter. This 5% back earning in the Ultimate Rewards points is just tremendous upside value on spending that you don't even have to really think about day to day. You're able to earn 5% back on these points up to $1,500 every quarter. This means if you max out your 5% category spend throughout the entire year, you'll spend $6,000 in these rotating categories each quarter, and that'll net you $300 in cash back or 30,000 Ultimate Rewards points. Additionally, the Freedom Flex earns 1% back on every other purchase. Not something really to write home about. Lastly, the Freedom Flex does give you cell phone protection, so if something happens to it, you're covered as long as you're paying your bill with your Freedom Flex. This enables you to decline this coverage from your cell phone provider like Verizon or AT&T, and you'll be able to get this extra value without having to pay for it. The Freedom Flex is just an ultimate workhorse of a card, and it really enables you to maximize your everyday spend with these 5% categories. You just don't really find cards like this that have such elevated vending multipliers that it just really makes it a no-brainer. All right, now let's get into the Chase Freedom Unlimited, which is a great card, don't get me wrong. However, it's just not the one I would get first. Freedom Unlimited gives you 1.5% back on every other spend. Now, we already talked about the travel and the restaurants and the drugstores, but this 1.5% catch-all category is for any other thing. And 1.5% is great, and it's significantly better than 1% back on the Freedom Flex. However, when you look at it on what you need to spend to get that same $300 in cashback Ultimate Rewards points that you would get with the Freedom Flex from that $6,000 to spend, to get that $300 back on the Freedom Unlimited, you'd have to spend $20,000 a year. That is a ton of money to spend in a single year, let alone on a single card. Nowadays, there are so many other cards that have 2% back, like on the Venture X, or even just the Wells Fargo Active Cash or the Citi Double Cash card, that the 1.5% is nice, But when you're comparing it to the Freedom Flex at 5% back on rotating categories, that's where it really becomes a catch-all card and not something that's going to really drive your points earning potential. However, being that it's a no annual fee card that you can transfer the points to the Sapphire Preferred or the Reserve, it's still a no-brainer pickup. It's just something I would get second because of the lower earning potential. It's great for catch-all categories, and I do find myself using the Freedom Unlimited at certain points throughout the year, but for the most part, I'm using those 2% earning cards, or I'm working on a sign-up bonus instead, where I'm putting all my catch-all spend on the current card that I'm working on. As a result, the Freedom Unlimited doesn't get much usage in my day-to-day spend and doesn't really make it out of my wallet very often. So as a result, it's a great card, great sign-up bonus for a no annual fee card, and it's great very early on in your setup, in your credit card strategy. However, it's not something that gets a ton of usage day to day for me anymore. So I know I've kind of hinted at these transfers of points from the Freedom Unlimited and the Freedom Flex to the Sapphire Preferred or the Reserve, and it's way too much info to go deep in on what the Chase Trifecta is, but high-level summary, it's 3 cards, this Freedom Flex, Freedom Unlimited, and either the Sapphire Preferred or the Reserve. And basically these no annual fee cards of the Freedom Flex and Freedom Unlimited will funnel up their points to the Preferred or the Reserve to be able to use them on transfer partners to get point values worth greater than 1 cent per point that you get as a standard through the Chase portal or in cash back. You can check out my video up here on in-depth look at the Chase Trifecta. So there we have it, guys. There's the in-depth look at the differences and the pros and cons between these two very, very popular cards, the Chase Freedom Unlimited and the Chase Freedom Flex. Like I touched on, both cards are tremendous and make total sense for just about anyone to get, especially when you're utilizing something like the Chase Trifecta. But when it comes down to it, I would prioritize getting the Chase Freedom Flex first over the Freedom Unlimited because of just the higher earning potential and it being such a great workhorse type card that it'll really supercharge your points earning and get you that much closer to free travel. Ultimately, the decision is yours, which is what's so incredible about the credit card game. For more credit card tips and how to travel for free, you might want to check out this next video to take your credit card journey to the next level.